Hello, I'm Max Bateman. I'm your host today, and we're here with Max Columbus.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Of course. And by the way, you're listening to Swamp Stories. Today we're going to be talking about Max's adventures into interviews, YouTube, and journalism. So, Max, what got you into all this?
I would say I was just watching TV one day, and I was kind of like, I want to talk to these people. I want to learn about them, the stories they share, because I felt like, and I still feel like, at the time when you're on TV, you're playing this role or this character, but it's never really about you as the person.
That's very admirable. And so, can you tell me, roughly, how many people have you interviewed?
I'd say somewhere in the upper 70s.
That's a lot. And how long have you been, when did you really start this journey?
I would say it was May of 2022.
Okay, so you've been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
And so, tell me a bit about, how do you choose who you're going to interview?
Well, I kind of look at local people, local television. Once I started kind of finishing the stations, I've done a lot with Local 4 WDIV team. Their team. I still have some more in the works for that, but I moved on to radio personalities as well to learn about that career. And then I'd say school board, school officials, and working on teachers, interviewing teachers now.
So you've really done everything.
Yeah,
Right.
I've talked to some sports activists too.
Oh, that's really cool.
I mean, I talked to Anthony Golub, the You Matter speaker from last year.
Alrighty, well, that's a lot of people. And so, what are some of the things that you do while you're interviewing people? What do you look for?
I look for conversation. Anytime there's a point where I can share something that I try and do every time, like if it's learning, I always try and find a fact of the day. It's never like, oh, once I'm done with school, I'm done learning. No. Even if it's an interpersonal thing or just a family dynamic, you can always learn something.
That's very nice. And so, what are your future plans with, your channel and your interviewing?
So I started the channel in 2016. YouTube, everyone was doing it. It just kind of was a thing. Did a lot of random things. COVID hit. I stopped playing video games. Thankfully, it had some issues. I had some issues. Just friends in general, there were problems with that.
Yeah, of course.
Figured out my things. Got myself organized. Met you in 6th grade.
Obviously, that was, that was a rough time.
And then it kind of started a year later after Time. And then things just kind of went from there.
Of course. And so, what do you plan on doing in the future? Do you plan on starting, something new after this? Or are you going to kind of keep on doing with this YouTube and stuff like that?
Well, once I hit last year, I took digital media arts before multimedia production, which you're taking right now.
Yeah.
But what I started was my website and overall deciding I can really make a company goal for this. It was Max Cool Gamer Columbus at one point. But I knew it wasn't fitting anymore. I just didn't know what I could pick that was encompassing.
With all of the new stuff that you were working on?
Or just old stuff in general. So then I found something and I really just tried to launch it from there.
And you mentioned your website. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so we had to make a portfolio in digital media arts to upload our stuff, and I said, well, I'm very public with my projects already.
Of course.
So why not just make a website for everything
that you work on?
Yeah, because I wasn't just uploading to the channel, to YouTube, of just the class stuff. It was everything.
Of course, yeah.
So I just was like, it would make sense to just upload everything to one place. And I was looking into making a website at some point, and just timing worked out.
Yeah. And so, like, I feel like the last thing that I feel like people would really like to know about is how do you balance, both your channel and all that stuff on the side as well as your school?
Definitely not easy 100% of the time. The last interview I've been able to do for the podcast that I do, really it's about career exploration, but I haven't done anything with that in like 7 months.
Oh wow, it's been a while.
I would say I went back to look into some of my interview stuff and deciding what can I do to enhance it to make it reflect where I'm at now.
Of course, yeah.
Versus when I first started, and just kind of updating some of it, adding new stuff. At one point I just called it interviews. Now I've found a podcast name, Conversations with Max, for it. So just trying to really update all that and bring the branding up. So that's been hard though, because schoolwork pops up.
Of course, yeah.
You got to make that the priority. So that's where I'm at. So it's hard, but I'm figuring out how to do it.
But yeah, do you ever plan on, getting really into your interviews and your journals and all that stuff, or is that just gonna always be like a hobby for you?
It's a career plan. If not that, as a journalist, either something in the field of writing something or producing or something. Who knows? I could do film industry too.
But yeah, you're really into all this stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
Alrighty. This was my interview with Max Columbus. Thank you so much for coming on and and letting me interview you.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.
It was a great time.
Yeah. So tune in next week for another
edition of Swamp Stories.
And thank you so much for listening.
You'll be seeing more of us soon.
Of course.